One of the first things a new watch collector learns about is Flieger watches. On this episode of Adventures with Time, I'll revisit the Stowa Classic Flieger I purchased almost 2 years ago, and we'll see if I still believe that a Flieger belongs in one's collection and whether my selection of the Stowa Classic was a good choice. Many non-watch enthusiasts probably never heard of the term Flieger or Flieger watch, and they probably don't know what is really meant by a pilot's watch. But once one starts collecting watches, it's hard not to become aware of these historic watches, especially those of the World War II era. I learned about pilot's watches as soon as I started collecting, and one of the first watches I added to my collection was the Zinn 104 pilot watch. Still one of my favorite watches. But about 6 months after purchasing my Zinn, I decided I wanted a watch in the style of the classic Fliegers made during World War II, and one from one of the 5 original manufacturers of these watches. So after a detailed survey of what is currently available, I decided to get the Stowa Flieger Classic 40 Baumünster B. Stay tuned to the end and I'll point you to that video where I did my complete survey. Now, 20 months later, do I think I made the correct selection? And do I still like the watch? Let's discuss. First, did I make the correct selection? Yes. For me, it really came down to either a Stowa or a Laco watch. Although one can argue, and several people have, that Laco watches are more faithful to the style in the original designs. I extended myself some leeway to select a watch whose styling is more to my liking. Hence, the matte finish of the Stowa over the sandblasted finish of the Laco, and the onion light crown on the Stowa versus the true onion shape of the Laco. And my viewpoint has not changed, in that, for me, the Stowa was the better selection. There's not a day that I have thought otherwise. Now let's discuss whether it makes sense to have a Flieger in one's collection. After all, I'm not a pilot or someone who needs a dial readable in a split second. So why a Flieger? I think it comes down to 2 points. First, as a watch enthusiast and collector, Fliegers are quintessential historical watches. These are watches designed with a specific purpose at a specific period of time. And although the same can be said for dive watches or racing watches, Fliegers had a detailed set of specifications they had to meet. A Flieger is a true tool watch. And as a watch collector, one probably wants to have in their collection a watch which represents such a significant aspect of horology. Now, even if you want some history as part of your watch collection, you need to consider, as a second question, the versatility of the item. I imagine if I were to ever acquire one of the original Fliegers with a size of 55 millimeters, I probably wouldn't have much occasion to wear such a large watch. It might be more of a display piece. However, considering one of the modern versions of this classic watch enables one to select a watch with greater wearability. I find my Stowa very wearable in many situations, with a dimension of 40 millimeters wide, 10.2 thickness, and a lug-to-lug of 48.6 millimeters. It can fit in during an elegant dinner out at a restaurant or with breakfast at your local coffee shop. Being a tool watch, it looks good just sitting on one's wrist, out and about in shorts and a t-shirt. I could put on the black strap I ordered with this watch and probably wear it in a dress-up situation, but I think there are better options in my collection for that situation. So to answer that second question, yes, the Stowa Flieger Classic is a versatile watch. Now before we go on, if you like content like this on watches, watch collecting, and horology, I encourage you to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Most importantly, feel free to add your thoughts in the comments. All of this helps me to make better content for you. Now back to the watch. I especially like the stark black dial with utilitarian printing of the hour and minute tracks. Although the target of this design was instant readability, I find that it also provides visual interest without being flashy. Adding to this, the totally brushed case and the thinnest of bevels to the sapphire crystal gives a subtle highlight to the case. Not only do I find it looks good and wearable in many situations, but it feels very comfortable on my 7 7/8 inch wrist. The relatively thin case sits flush against the wrist, and the lugs, which slope down about 1 millimeter below the case back, hug the wrist, allowing for the watch to slip nicely under a shirt cuff. Now, my watch has been keeping great time from its ETA 2824-2 movement, with an average accuracy of +2 seconds a day and a max of 5 seconds a day. And that movement is visible through the display case back, where you can also view the rotor, engraved with specifications from both the original and modern watch. Although some think the rotor design is lackluster, it doesn't really concern me since I rarely look at the back, and when I do, it's to admire the details of the movement, not the rotor. All in all, I'm very happy with the Stowa Flieger Classic 40 as part of my collection. I still believe the selection of this model was the best for me. Now, if you want to see the analysis I went through to select this Flieger, watch this video here. If you'd like to see my latest State of the Watch collection, that's this video down here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.